Welcome back, everybody. Part 6 of our adventure. We are leaving Hikertown behind. It's about 5:30 p.m. It's the first time we make an attempt on night hiking, but it is necessary due to the next stretch is a very hot and long section without water. Most hikers decide to do it at night. To avoid the baking sun. So we will follow the aqueduct all night long until we get into a wind farm later on. And we enjoyed it a lot, actually. It was a beautiful night, and I hope you enjoy the show. So, next morning, it's about 8 o'clock when we couldn't sleep any longer. We didn't get to bed too late. I think it was around 11 or something like that. So, yeah, 8 o'clock, and it got too hot in our tents, so we decided to hike on. But we did take a little day break, and about 2 or 3 hours we stayed at a little water source where we waited for the heat to go down a little bit, and then we hiked on around 3:30 maybe, and let me tell you, it was still very hot, but it doesn't matter, we have to do some miles, so up we go.
Welcome to the Pacific Crest Trail. For those of you who aren't dressed for the occasion, this is the what you should be wearing. And let me check my notes here. Hold on. I have nothing to say. Turn that damn thing off.
After one of Wheat's non-prepared speeches, we had some new wildlife for you. Aren't they cute? They just went over the trail above us. Really cool. So, we are on a wind farm, and it is really windy. Yeah, so much for that. Yeah, like I told you last week, we got a lunar eclipse going on tonight. That is really amazing. I tried to take good pictures for you, but it didn't really work out for me. And it's hard to describe, but it was really beautiful. I had one thing to complain. The night before that, it was so beautiful with the bright moon, and we didn't need our headlamps, and it was pitch dark. Of course it was. It was a lunar eclipse. And when we finally go to bed, the lunar eclipse was over, and it was like somebody turned on a lantern. It was so light outside. Some of you might have noticed we didn't pitch a tent, but it was simply impossible to set up a tent. Look at that wind. and that is what we had to sleep in. So we had to cowboy camp. There was no other choice. And you had to hold on to your belongings, let me tell you. Weed went up after his pillow at one point. It was just blowing away. It was super crazy. Luckily, we had a short hike, or relatively short hike. In front of us, we only had like 4 more miles of 4 point something until we hit a street where we got a hitch into Tehachapi, where we took a zero and just relaxed a little bit, got a resupply done, and got lots and lots of food, just like we used to. Not only are we getting food and resupply every time in town, but I have to find a quiet place to make those lovely videos. In this case, it was a bathtub. The next day we have to wait for Weed, who has ordered some new shoes, and they won't arrive before noon, so we had to wait around in town. We used the opportunity to get more food into us, and then oblivious, a guy Weed met on the Appalachian Trail 2018, he picked us up and took us back to the trail. But yeah, afternoon, it means baking heat. So poor little me needs a little break. So we take a break under those brushes and just take a nap for an hour or two until we then keep going in the afternoon. Unfortunately, sometimes we got boring stretches like this where we have to hike beside a highway or something similar. That's not the coolest, but it's part of it. Luckily, we have a beautiful sunrise to make up for it, but still we are in the wind farm area and couldn't set up our tents. It's still too windy. You will see. lunchtime, I found those pretzels with cheese in them. Oh, they were really good. I wish I could get them every lunchtime. But unfortunately, we don't have a lot of big supermarkets on this trail. But yeah, look at those. I'm not sure if they're used to hikers or not used to people, but they're not really afraid. They are where we're there. They are taking care and going over to their buddy to warn him about us, but they don't really seem to be afraid. That was the strangest sound in the forest until I saw the raven actually doing it. I was wondering what it was. Crazy nature.
Yay!
Finally, we have a beautiful day without this huge wind going on all day long. This was really a beautiful hike all day long. We had a little bit of obstacles, you could say. We had a lot of trees that we had to crawl over and under, like you could see. But I prefer those 100 times in comparison to the wind we had. The wind is no fun. We have a lot of flowers on the side of the trail, and I often forget to take pictures of those. Oh, look at that! 600 miles! Whoop whoop! Here we are at a water source, filtering water for the next section. No, going back to the flowers, I did take a picture for you the next day to show you how small they actually are. For today, we had a little treat, a little apple crisp we found in a hiker box. That was actually a pretty delicious, what do you call it? Dessert, that is. Oh, and I'm a pastry chef. I did mention how cold it gets at night, but I never showed you. It was -4 degrees Celsius this night. We are still comfortable in our tents, but it is very cold some nights. Luckily, during the day it's getting better, and sometimes it's getting too hot. Today is one of the good days where you don't expect anything but turn around a corner and find something amazing. Coming down a side trail to a campground area to get some water, and there is magic waiting for us. Here's a guy called Chris who makes homemade burritos that he cooks on the fire for us. He had a lot of fruit and cookies and sodas and everything you could ask for as a hiker. That was an amazing treat to start the day with. It was so awesome. Yeah, and trail register, we sign it, of course, so everybody knows where we've been. So for the next long stretch, we have to rely on water caches that people like you and me provides for us. Somebody is driving out with all those gallons of water for us because there's no natural water for about 34 miles. So thank you very much for whoever does that. Yeah, and I just put my backpack on a bush while I was filtering the water and had all of those tiny little guys crawling around on my backpack. And shortly after the water cache, we had to take another break. I couldn't handle the heat, it was simply too much. But we didn't really feel safe under those Joshua trees. They made a really funky sound, and you're always afraid that they crack and fall down on you and stab you. And tonight is the first night I'm allowed to sleep in Weed's tent. Weed wanted to cowboy camp and I didn't, but my tent couldn't stand up in the sandy ground. So luckily he didn't mind and I could borrow his tent while he was sleeping outside on the bare ground, while I was protected and sheltered in his comfortable tent. We hiked through this beach, sandy ground for a couple of days now, and it's super hard. But look at that, even 1,000 kilometers, it's done. We are amazing. We are feeling pretty good, and we don't mind the sun, the sand, or the uphills. We are crushing some miles today. We have a goal. We want to reach the next town. So we look at that. I on purpose did this with my shoes so you could see how sandy the ground is. I'm usually not sloping my feet like that. But it was crazy. I always tell everybody I couldn't train for the PCT because we don't have any hills or mountains in Denmark. If I had known about this situation, I would have gone out on the beach and hiked with my backpack. Telling us all. My legs look like that after 2 days out there already. I've never been that dirty in my life before, just by being outside. The desert is super hard on you, and in your gear. It is incredible how dirty you get and how greasy. Ooh, look at this little guy. I really tried to catch him. It was a little bunny. I did get the pleasure of seeing him in full view, but when I took out the camera, he went off. Oh, guys, I really try to capture all those creatures for you. And so does Weed. He is still trying to catch some of them. And actually he does. In a minute or two, I'll show you. So I just told you about the flowers on the side, and here's a picture where I try to show you how tiny they actually are. Don't mind the greasy fingers. The rocks and the stones fascinate me sometimes. Look at that, it looks like it has a layer of cream cheese inside. And I'm still dumbfounded by it while Weed is taking a video of me without me noticing. Oh, noticing too late at least. Weed did catch something for me, and we do suspect she was a she due to the coloring of her spikes. But yeah, I will show you.
I want to see you kiss the little guy and you get 3 wishes.
Oh, he looks grumpy. Oh, he's not happy about being kissed. Oh.
You see his little belly.
He looks really... Oh, are we done now?
You know what it is? It's because that's a female. Hey, let me see the back real good. Your upper finger, if you could, hold it by the leg. Okay. It's going to jump. No. Okay, thank you.
You can live on my shoulder. I have you forever now.
You can,
edit
this however you want. I know. Let's go ahead and set the little guy now.
Mm. So that is what freshly showered legs look like. And we did it. We finally made it to the next town. So that was it for this week, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video and thank you for watching.